What is going on, everyone? Leon checking in, and we're at it again with another episode. Now, today's content is an increased focus on the metaverse or virtual reality, and that brings us to some exciting updates. Now, some of these updates aren't entirely new, like face tracking, which is limited to the Meta Quest Pro, but I wanted to cover these anyways in case you may not know about them. Now, one feature I am very excited about is an increase in movement, and this was seen in Horizon Worlds, and now it comes to the actual virtual environment that you select, which is basically your home screen, and this is available on both the Meta Quest 2 and the Meta Quest Pro. Now, if you are watching on YouTube and are looking for more content related to this topic, you can find it on the Meta Quest playlist. And for reference, I am using the Meta Quest Pro for this topic. As always, you can find items shown or mentioned in this video, like the Meta Quest 2 and the Meta Quest Pro, at the Amazon storefront link in the description below. All things said, let's go ahead and get into it. So here we are in our first virtual environment. This is the space station, and we actually have a convenient mirror over here. So I'm going to move closer to it so we can demonstrate what is going on here. Now, again, this is with the Meta Quest Pro. So we have face tracking. That means that we have tracking of the lips and tracking of the eyes and the cheeks, things like that. So you can see as I'm talking here, and this also depends on if you have the headset placed properly on your head. But as I'm talking, my lips are moving. We have the eye tracking. So if I move my eyes left to right, you can see that they're going to move. We can squint an eye. We can squint both eyes. We can open them wide. The eyebrows also go up. So we have eyebrow tracking there too. Very interesting. We can make an angry face. We can suck our cheeks in. Angry face with sucky cheeks. It looks like an angry kiss. I want to kiss you. But we can also puff our cheeks out. Things like this. So this isn't an entirely new feature. It's been demonstrated by other content creators, but it just makes the virtual reality experience more authentic. If you were to conversate with someone in virtual reality, they would have a better idea of how you're feeling based on your facial cues. But anyways, to the movement. So if we deflect the left joystick, we can teleport to different areas. We have these pre-marked spots in the virtual environment. Simply select one. I'm going to go way over to the other side of the ship there, let it go. That brings us to a chair, and we are sitting in it. And this is nice because before all of this, I couldn't even make it this far into this environment. I could only stay within what you see that I'm in now. I couldn't go to the kitchen there. I couldn't go over to that robotic arm assembly with the projected hologram. I could only really stay here, and that was because I didn't have this teleportation method. And my personal living area was not large enough to walk over there. But before we go over to that robotic area, there is something else I want to mention that's kind of scary. Is if we were up and walking, I could teleport to this area here, and then if I wanted to, I'm going to actually turn my camera so I'm not facing away from all of you. I could actually walk out of the spaceship, and there would be a black void underneath me. And this planet that you see here that we're looking at from out of this window, it would just come to an abrupt stop. It's just a straight line across. The rest of the planet isn't even finished. And if you're standing outside of the spaceship, you'll see the rest of the spaceship isn't even finished. And again, we have that black void underneath us. So that's very, very scary. But anyways, let's take a closer look at this robotic arm. Let's see if we can go there. And again, I'm going to turn my camera so I'm not facing away from the viewers. We get a closer look at this robotic arm. That's really cool. Again, we've got that projected hologram. The spaceship's really nice. And this is one of the larger environments. And we're actually going to continue to move around here. Again, I got to remember to rotate my camera, but we can look out of this other window out of the space station. We got a lot of action going on here, a lot of spaceships moving around. We got the other side of the spaceship. But let's talk about possibilities. We have all these doors here. We can't yet go through them. And again, if you were to walk outside of this virtual environment, that's more or less a glitch because it hasn't been actually developed yet. We could actually discover more of the environment. But of course, the environment would need to be built more, so that brings us to other possibilities. So again, to build this environment and store it locally on the MetaQuest Pro or the Quest 2, that would be you'd need a lot of space required for that. So it seems like the idea would be to actually do this using cloud technology from cloud gaming, and you would stream this content to the headset. And that's the only way I could see it going. But let's jump into another virtual environment. So I'm going to bring up my menu, and we are going to bring up the Desert Terrace. This is another good environment because it is very large. And we're going to close our menu here, so that's not in the way. But again, we can teleport throughout this environment. What I like about the Desert Terrace is we do have good movement here. So we can pull up our teleportation. And we have this whole environment. We have couches way over there. We've got couches here. We've got a table. We've got another living space. And we also have a mirror still. We could check out the mirror. But we got this nice little walkway. And this presents a lot of movement. Although when you teleport through it, it does come to a dead end. That's a bit of a disappointment. Again, I'm going to turn my camera here. But it gives you possibility. I'm going to rotate my camera around. I'm going to see. And the teleportation is not perfect because here I am. I am trying to teleport out of this area and I'm basically stuck here. I can't move. So let's see if we can bring up a different environment. I'm going to bring up the abstraction. This is a new one. And it features ethereal music. Now this is going to be more of a limited environment. And just to explain this environment, if you are listening in the podcast, it's ribbons of color. We have these dark ribbons too. They're just black ribbons. They seem a bit more sinister. And then we have this ethereal music. Ethereal sound of music. It's very calming and soothing. I imagine this would be the perfect environment if you were to do a meditation session, a yoga session. Your instructor would pop up right here in the middle and you would cross legs or start performing yoga positions and discover mindfulness and peace with the body. But we have very limited movement here. So this is a bit of a disappointment. And I like to rotate in the seat too so that you can see that I am rotating in my computer chair. That is very squeaky. But yeah, we have limited range of motion here. Let's pick another environment. One of my first and favorite would be the Cyber City. And this one is full of possibilities. I believe this is with the needed improvements in the actual Cyber City needing to come along. We need better visuals. Everything looks very blocky. And not very photorealistic. So hopefully we'll have some visual enhancements coming there. But before we continue on, I do want to mention that what we are seeing on the MetaQuest Pro is upgraded from the MetaQuest 2. We've got better visuals and we have a bit more RAM. So performance on the MetaQuest Pro will be a bump up from the MetaQuest 2. But let's take a look around in my Cyber City apartment. And again, this is where I feel like you would really start in the virtual reality experience. You would start in your apartment and then you would navigate out into the world. Now this environment is fairly small. And what's interesting about this environment and the other ones is there are hints of Oculus. So we've got this Oculus plaque. We've got an Oculus branded computer. Let's see. I'm going to go over to it. That's the kitchen area. The Oculus branded, I think that's a tablet. It's hard to see. Let's see if we get another look at it. Or it could just be maybe like a storage device. Maybe it is a tablet. It's hard to tell, but it's got the Oculus logo on it. So again, the Cyber City apartment, there's a lot of potential here. For example, you know, we got a refrigerator. It'd be nice to check that out, maybe interact with the fruit, throw the fruit across the room. We've got some boxes, which is very representative of this time. They're not labeled Amazon, but I imagine they would be, unless in this future Amazon doesn't exist anymore. But this kind of reminds me of my own apartment because I have boxes laying around. We do have stairs there, but we can't go up them. And that's a bit of a disappointment. We have a door here. We can't go out of that. But I imagine if this were further developed, you'd go out of this door and you'd have your friends located in the hallway, and you can knock on their door, ring their buzzer, and see if they're home in their virtual reality experience. I'm going to turn around here. There are other things I would like to see. Again, we can't go up the stairs, and that means we have this nice balcony area we can't get to. It would be nice to go up there. There's no way to do that. No way whatsoever. So that's a bit of a disappointment as well. But overall, I love the idea of being able to move around here. That is a very, very nice feature. It just gives us a bit more possibility. So that is it for today's content. If you enjoyed it and found it useful, please leave a like. If you're watching on YouTube and have any questions or comments, as always, drop those down below and I'll do my best to answer them. Now, there are 3 ways you can support the content. The first way is to click on the Amazon storefront link in the description below. There you'll find items that I have bought or would buy, and anything you buy from the storefront does support the content. The next way to show your support is just by sharing this content with someone who might enjoy it or find it useful. And the last way you can show your support is just by clicking the subscribe button. Now, liking and subscribing are important for the content. If new viewers and listeners see likes and subscribers, they're going to think that the content is helpful, worth watching, and listening to. And as always, thanks for watching, and may the universe flow in your favor. And until next time, Leon checking out.
Yeah.